Alright, so I told you guys I would make a quick video about these steering column bushings and the rag joints, etc. I'm piecing together a few little clips from some of the other cars. I hope this helps you guys, but here are a couple of columns. I believe one's out of a 67, one's a 66, and one's a 64. But I had them laying around here, and so figured I'd kind of show you guys what's happening with them. This is kind of what they're kind of supposed to look like. This is actually, I custom did this one. This came out of my 64. I don't have I have a floor shifter, so I don't have the column shift like this. This one, as you can see, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but the problem that I'm addressing right now, or that we've been talking about, is this slop here. This is a good example. In the column where this connects to the rag joint and then in turn connects to the steering column. This is what gives you guys, and a lot of these Lincolns, that really dangerous quality of falling into gear. When it's in park, sometimes it can actually slip into reverse and kill somebody. So I posted a little thing about these rag joints and stuff, and a lot of people were asking me to do a quick video explaining a little bit better. These I just happen to have laying around. I mean, I've been doing these Lincolns for many years, so I got shit everywhere. But I mean, this is kind of what it's supposed to look like. This one's not perfect, but it's in decent shape. This side with the little grooves connects to the steering column. You can see how it's like a half moon. The other side with the little teeth on it connect to the gearbox, steering box. So some of them are vehicle specific, like if you're looking online. So be careful, because if you get one for, I don't know, a Toyota or something, these splines may not be the same, so it may not work and line up. You can get a universal one, which is what I typically do, and it comes with this part, and you I believe they come with this side too, and then you mount your old hardware this on there, and most of the time that's good. I mean, even this one that's completely shot, that part is still good enough to mount on the other one, I'm guessing. This one is pretty done. That part's actually, I think, still on that old steering box, but I wanted to show you guys a couple of different things. Another thing people were mentioning, I was trying to explain to somebody, they said, well, my car, when it's sitting, when I turn the steering wheel, it wants to change gears, and it's really dangerous. You know, I'm sitting there in neutral, and I go to turn the steering wheel, and it goes into either reverse or drive, or you're driving and you take a turn and it shifts into neutral or something. So what's causing that is if your rag joint's really shot like this, and then you have another issue, either one or a combination of the both is the issue here, where this bushing is either completely gone or it's worn out to the point where this isn't holding this correctly. So this is connected, as it's supposed to be, to the steering box and to your column here. And if this is wobbling like this, what it does is this, you see how close this gets? This can actually hit the shifter and make it shift gears, and especially if it's all shot like this and there's shit hanging off of it like this. See how that rubber is actually hitting that? So I just wanted to show you kind of what's causing that. So this is extremely dangerous for both of those reasons. It can either fall into gear, which I've actually had happen. It was several years ago, and I hit the wall in my shop. Thankfully there was no kids or anything standing around, or I wasn't standing in front of it. But the car actually just went into reverse and slammed into the wall of the shop. So, you know, I found this is one of the solutions I've been using for a long time. Different parts, I used to get them at Ace Hardware. I found this one at Tractor Supply. That's what started this whole thing. I made this post, and I said, hey guys, you know, instead of you know, spending a bunch of money with what I call the usual suspects that tend to just overcharge people for a lot of the stuff, and that's a whole nother story. But you know, this was $2 at Tractor Supply. It fits right in there. I already posted pictures of one that I just recently did. Some of the, you know, like the final pictures. I typically clean this all up. Sometimes I sandblast them, sometimes just wire brush it real good. I grease everything down, and then these actually have a set screw. Some of the other bushings don't, and it just fits on there just right. It's 3/4. Kind of line it up, get it in place like that. I don't want to push this one all the way down because I'm not ready to do it yet. I'm going to clean it up. You take a big socket, like a 13/16 or whatever. This happens to be a 21, I guess. Just put it around there like that. Just gently tap it down. The other pictures that I sent kind of showed where to stop. And it fits in there perfectly snug. Like I said, I've done it dozens of times. Never had any issues with any of the cars. I thought this was funny. I took this one out of a, I believe it's a 64 I took it out of. I don't know what the hell they were doing. There's all kinds of extra holes and shit's been. I was like, they just try to tear it out at some point in its life. But it also had the same issue. This is really common. The other issue, it looks like it had somebody, you see this, there's supposed to be kind of another bushing type thing that goes in there and keeps that part from wiggling. I guess their solution was to put canned spray foam in there. It actually seems to kind of do the job, I guess. It's funny what you run into over the years doing these cars. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys some of that stuff. I'll show you real quick. This car, I was gonna pull this car off the, down off the lift and show you guys a few things, and I realized there's so much. It's so taken apart right now that it wouldn't help you guys much. But there's the steering column. Let's see if I can get a good shot. I mean, the steering box, and that's where the part with the splines that I was just showing you guys a second ago. That part goes on there. There's a little groove. You try to get on there as deep as you can. I may make another video when I put this one back on, showing you guys, like how far you go down and stuff like that. But it's really simple. I mean, honestly, it takes, I'd say an hour is being generous. It shouldn't take any more than an hour. It takes about 20-30 minutes to get the steering column out, if that. And then you slide this bushing down in here, tap it in, you put your new rag joint on, and then you throw the steering column back in, tighten it down on the steering box, and you're done, and you're safe, and nobody dies. So I hope this video helps you guys a little bit. Sorry about the crappy camera work, but this isn't my thing, and I work on cars all day. I just started making videos trying to help some guys, so hope it helps somebody. This one is a 66. It's still all together, so I can show you guys where some of the other screws are. There's, let's see, one here, one here. They go along here. There's a few of them on the other side here, just like that other side. It's just those screws. Yours might have 4 or 6. A lot of them are missing over the years. There's a 5/16 here. Should be one on the other side. I think that one's missing right there. Those two, and then this whole thing drops down and kind of slides out of the way. You don't even have to loosen everything else, the ignition and things like that. It should have enough to drop down on the floor and give you enough room to slide the steering column out. And then same 4 bolts on all of them down there. I believe 5/16, possibly 3/8. Actually, I think they're 3/8. And I'll show you the rest on the other cars. All right, guys, this is a 68. Very similar to 66, 67. Like I said, they're all very similar process. You're going to take those 2 screws there out to drop that little plate off. And then the little screws all the way around, little Phillips heads that go kind of all the way around this bottom piece here. That drops down. There's 2 bigger bolts. I don't think you see them on this car. No, you can't quite see them. But there's 2 bigger bolts. And then they drop, the front part of the column. And then there's those smaller bolts down there in the back, and then that's pretty much it. And then you loosen it at the rag joint, either at the steering box or on the other side, depending on if you're changing the rag joint or not, which I would always recommend doing that at the same time. So I'll move on to the next car. All right, here's a 62. If I remember correctly, 62 and 63 are the same. You got those 2 big bolts right there. If you can see that bracket, can't really get in there. And then the same type of bolts down there at the bottom. I believe either 5/16, 3/8, same thing. You drop, it's really the same process. You drop that piece of the dash right there. There's a couple bolts holding this upper part in, and then those ones at the bottom. This whole thing drops down, and in just a second I'll pop this hood and show you the where the rag joint connects. All right, here's another 64. Actually, I think I just showed you guys a 64. I don't know what clips I'm going to put in this video or not, but I wanted to show a bunch of different years. But I noticed I had this one over here that still had some of the bracketry on, so I wanted to show you where the bolts are in case I don't make the whole video from start to finish. This bracket right here there's a couple ways to do it. You can take this bolt out, and you can take this bolt out, and this can stay on the steering wheel and drop down. Or you can do it the way I did it here. There's a bolt that goes across here, goes in this hole, and holds the other side of this bracket to the steering column, and I just took it out that way and dropped it down, and you loosen these bolts here. But I'm realizing right now, as I'm making this video, that just showing you these brackets and showing you all the different cars probably isn't gonna, you know, really do it for a lot of you guys. So I guess I'm gonna go take one of these cars apart that's all together and just do it from start to finish, and show you guys that way. So I'll be back. All right, guys, here's a 67. Pretty much the same damn thing. Take that little piece off, all these little bitty screws up in here, and then there's the same screws down there at the bottom. These cars are pretty much all the same, man, as far as getting the steering column out. I don't know why I'm showing you all the different ones, other than I know if I don't, people are going to say, well, what about a 67? Is it the same, or how's that work? But they're pretty much all the same. And I might use this one as the one I actually take the column out. I'm just doing this just to help you guys out. You know, it's not like I'm taking the column out anyway right now. But a lot of people, after I made that post, were asking me, you know, for a video, so I decided I'll take a little time today and go ahead and snatch one of these out to show people step by step. So hope it helps somebody. All right, I told you guys I would take one of these dashes out, one of these steering columns out, to show you how it's done. I'm probably going to do the whole thing with this little nifty tool here. I'm not sure about the angle and stuff. I don't know what the hell I'm doing as far as these videos go, but just trying to help some people out. So hopefully this, along with some of the other little clips I put together, might help you guys. But somebody wanted to actually see it done, so here we go. We'll go ahead and get rolling, I guess. One guy's like, oh, you can't do a steering column in an hour, but there's really not that much to it, man. You take these little screws out around the dash, and try not to block the view too much. Alright. And there's a 5/16, I believe, down here. There should be two of them. I think this car only had one. And then this whole thing drops down. Let's see if you guys can see that. Maybe I'll move this a little bit. The whole little piece drops down. You got this brace up here. I can't get this damn camera in here, so probably better just leaving the damn thing where it's at. But let me put the Phillips back in real fast. And I usually do this, by the time I'm at this step, I usually have the car stripped down, no seats, you know, so it's a little bit easier. That's that piece right there. And then I usually take the, there's I believe some 3/8 bolts down there. This car's got a lot of extra radio wiring and crap. But, see if I can get this camera in here. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing as far as the camera deal goes. See if I can get this off. I think I can see in there. That bolt right there. Should be one on the other side just like it. That bolt right there. And that's pretty much it, I believe. And then down here, you know, the bolts I've been showing you guys. I can't see with this fucking camera, so but you'll see, I guess. Stick this back on here. I have no idea how to put this fucking thing back on. Alright. Do the rest of it. I believe these bolts are 1/2 inch. At least I hope so, because that's what I brought. Stick them on my trusty deal here. Yep, looks like 1/2 inch to me. And then another 1/2 inch over here. Probably bumping the camera there. Can't see shit. The camera's in the way. Alright. That ought to do that. Pull that fucker out. And then alright, then It's a little easier when you don't have all this bullshit stereo wiring that this car has. I don't know what these people were thinking, but you know, it is what it is. And I believe these ones down here are 3/8. I can't see shit. I'm probably gonna block the camera, but here we go. I usually save one of the easier ones at the bottom for last, because these top ones can be a real bitch to get to sometimes. Fucking wiring. These are a fucking bitch to get to. Alright. And then this top one, I'll show you guys a little better after I do this, I guess. Alright, that's pretty much it actually. See if I can get a better view. I don't have any good light in there. Let me get this last little screw out. Did I bump this? Nope, I guess it's still there. Like I said, I apologize again for the shitty camera view going on here. Alright, this is the last screw that should drop it down. It's actually right now hanging by these damn speaker wires and stuff, but typically at this point it drops down. So I got this damn tripod here. So that's it, man. I mean, like I said, man, you can do it in a half hour. It takes me about 15 minutes. Somebody argue with me, oh, you're full of shit, 15 minutes. I don't know how long it's been, but there you go. This column is down enough, so the only thing left is the 7/16 bolt on the rag joint, like I was showing you guys. And this pulls right out. It's a bitch. You got to wiggle it, you know, and kind of get it just right, because you have to get the shifter lever through the hole, and that's kind of a pain in the ass. Let me take this off. Maybe I'll show you guys. So, you know, you got to work with it a little bit, and I don't think this shitty camera has a light. But, you know, whatever, man. A baller on a budget. No light. So, that's worthless. Let me see if I can use my drill's light. Probably not gonna help. Anyway, there's a couple of harnesses depending on the year of the car. Don't know if you can see those either. There's a little harness on there. Wiring harness. Pull that off before you start yanking everything out. But that's pretty much it, man. I'll show you guys the rag joint, I guess, in case I don't do different video real quick. It's gonna be the worst video in the history of YouTube. Look at this. Is that a shame or what, man? Holy shit. Oh, that's a whole nother story. But I can't see the video here. Oh, you come down in here, and this right here, there's a pin. You pull that little pin out, it's like a Carter key, so that you can get the shifter lever loose. You just pull that little rod just pops out, so that loosens that. And then, not sure if I can get a view on it, but I showed you guys on some of the other steering columns where that 7/16 thing is. You can turn it just right, and you can try to get in from up here. Most of the time I have these things on a lift, so I come in from the bottom, and you just turn the steering wheel, you know, just right, and you get it to where that bolt is facing straight down, and you come up from under the headers, and or you know, up under the motor, and loosen it that way, just with a long extension. So anyway, there you go, man. That should help you guys as far as you don't have to take the steering wheel off or any of that crazy shit. The whole column comes out like I showed you guys some of the other ones. I hope that helps you guys out.